James Lynch out for the season. No! Welcome back to a somber Onebar and Lupagus show. James Lynch reports just flying all over the place that he tore his ACL last night. He is out for the year, which hurts my ginger heart. If you watch this show on a regular basis, you know how much I love James Lynch. Has been one of my favorites over the last handful of years. So we're going to talk about that. Before we do that, remember, subscribe to the channel, like the videos here every damn day talking Vikings. So if you're not subbed and you're watching, just hit the sub button. It'll make you feel so damn good. James Lynch. I was at the practice last night. I didn't see anybody get helped off. I didn't see anybody that looked overly injured, so I completely missed it. Yes, I was drinking some beers, so maybe maybe it was a little hazy. But James Lynch, look at this. How does this affect the Vikings? I mean, you never want to see anybody get hurt, ever, especially a torn ACL to miss the season. But in the big scheme of things for the Vikings, he was at the point where he was just going to be fighting to make the final roster. Over the last handful of years, he's added nice depth. Is he a guy that should be out there starting week in and week out? Probably not. He has decent depth. A guy who can get to the quarterback, a guy who runs defense has actually improved over the last handful of years. He's played in 37 games, started like 4 or 5 during his career since being drafted in round 4 out of Baylor. When we drafted him, he racked up a ton of sacks at Baylor. So I thought he was going to put a little bit more up in the sack column, but he's been a good depth piece. He's a free agent next year. Is his days with the Minnesota Vikings over? Probably. Never say never, but like I said, he was scrapping to make this team anyways. Brian Flores seems to like to keep about 5 defensive linemen. And when you look at our depth, Dean Lowry, Tonga, Phillips is the starters, Atamueo, and Roy, this year's rookie. There's 5 right there. Add Jonathan Bullard into the mix. Add Ross Blacklock into the mix. Add guys like Calvin Avery, Sheldon Day. James Lynch, if I had to bet on it, was probably going to be cut, and that hurts me to say because I love this guy, and he just got injured, so I'm not trying to pour salt in the wounds, but the silver lining for James Lynch, hopefully he's ready to go next year as far as free agent time, and somebody picks him up, and this is not the last we've seen of him. I would love to see a redemption story. James Lynch signs with somebody and gets 15 sacks next year. Let's go, baby. I will always be a James Lynch fan. Like I said, I'm not saying his days with the Vikings are over, but they probably are. James Lynch hopefully gets healthy very, very soon. Let me know in the comments. Does this hurt the Vikings? Are you going to be sad to see him go? Let me know. We'll be back all weekend talking Vikings.